you very much for having me here. My name is Associate Professor Dr. Patama Satawedin. I'm from School of Communication Arts, Bangkok University, Thailand, and currently I'm the Director of the Master of Communication Arts in Digital Marketing Communications programs. So basically, my background is not really, about education as like the educational attainment, but my background is basically about communications for my bachelor's, master's, and also for my PhD degrees as well. But I stepped into like the educational world, which is I really fall in love. And I'm still doing this up until now, and I believe myself that I'm gonna be a teacher, an instructor up until I am retired. Well, what I'm going to talk today is the arts of the affordable and sustainable experiential learning, a road to the success. Well, I prepare my presentations actually, but I have to confess that this morning, the professor from Nepal, he actually have talked a lot about experiential learning. So then I decided to throw my slide away because it's quite, similar to what he just talked. And then because it's about the experiential learning, so why not I share my experience myself, okay? I would like to give you like 5 reasons why I fall in love with experiential learning. So first of all, that I said, it's because of me, myself. I start to be like the teacher when I was the 3rd year student. I was a piano teacher. And then what I found is that it's a really interesting job. I have got the chance to talk with my students. I do not just share my experience and my knowledge to my students only, but also I have listened to the thoughts and also the opinions from the students in order to understand, like have got like the share and common understandings between me, myself, and also the students. And then I keep continuing working as like the teachers after finishing my PhD degree in the communications area and in communication world. Even when I was like the students, even I'm like the teachers right now, what I really love is about learning by doing, which is like the main concept of experiential learning. Trial and error is like the good lesson learned, to be honest. Even I'm like the teachers, it doesn't mean that I have to always collect, but it depends on the situations, it depends on the thoughts, it depends on the situations, and then I can share with my students. I also would like to thank my parents as well. Both of them are the teachers, so then why I embrace as like the teachers as well. I'm looking forward always as for the opportunities in order to learn and gain like experience. And that's kind of the even hands-on, even like the experience that I can share with my students. And also I can learn from the experience from my students as well. This is the first one. The second one is that the future classroom is just have a discussions with my colleagues. And the future classroom is not just like the academic classroom that, okay, the teachers stand in front of the class, give the lectures, and then the students just sit at the tables and just listen to the instructors and the lecturers only. In the future, that pictures of that classroom should not exist, but it should swap or it should change to be like to think like the classroom is like the playground. So the students can join, the student can play, the student can do anything that they want and learn from that playground. Why the teachers have to give some kinds of the directions or some kinds of the guidance. So the roles of the teacher should be changed, not like the teachers, but it should be like the coach or facilitator. I normally, when I treat my student, I would pretend that I'm the friends. So it means that just to open up the space for the students in order to feel like, okay, they feel comfortable in order to have a chat with me. We can share the experience together, and then we can kind of, structures all the thoughts or the things all together. That's the second point, that about the future classroom, and this is why one of the important reasons why I come up with this topic. The third one is about the idea. I treat the experiential learning as less but more. Less but more means that it's affordable, and also it provides like a huge impact and a powerful influential impact to the students and also to the society as well. I got some kinds of the case studies that I asked the students to provide. I give them like the brief or the challenge in order to develop a campaign, the communication campaign. But that campaign has to be sustained, to give like a sustainable impact to the society. So how are you going to do? How are you going to create such kinds of the campaigns? That is, the keyword is sustainable. That's very important. So it means that the campaign must be good for the society, must be good for the world, must be good for the people. So how are you going to do that? So it means that by using the experiential learning, they have to kind of understand the brief. They have to collect the data, wide variety of sources. There are lots of sources that they can find out the information and also the data in order to, understand the clients, understand the targeted audience, and things about defining the communication strategy, and then also the evaluations and things like that. So they have to go and explore the world, do some kinds of the research, and then trying to analyze the data, provide the ideas of the campaigns, and then they have to kind of provide the executions and implementations by having me as the coach. So I'm not like the instructors anymore, but I'm like the facilitator, the coach that give the hints or give the guidelines for the student, but not give like the directions. You have to follow this one, no? So it means that the educational purpose or educational process is going to be changed from teach what to do, but in order to think like how to do. This is like the third point, so less but more. But for the fourth point, actually I have touched already, is about the roles of the instructors, that we have to change our positions from instructors or the teachers to be like the coach or facilitator. To be like the friends. This is really important. So they can share not just only like academic knowledge and understandings, but they can share like, their personal issues as well. That can, is provide and allows like, a closer space between teachers and also the students. When talking about like the process of the experiential learning is really important. And it reminds me one process or one widely known use right now. I'm not quite sure whether or not have you ever heard about design thinking process. The design thinking process is, there are 5 stages basically. The first stage is empathize, to understand about the unmet needs of the peoples, of the clients. The second stage is to define the problems. What is like the problems that the clients have got? And then they have to ideate. So it means that to think and to create like the solutions in order to respond to the problems. And the fourth one is about the prototype. They have to develop like a prototype in order to respond to the needs of the clients, and then they have to test. So it means that they have to find out like the problems, okay, define the problems, find out the solution, and then they have to develop the prototype, and then they test. And then the learning process, according to the design thinking, then you test. If you find that it's not work, then you study more and more. You share the solutions. You provide the prototypes or generate the prototypes once again, and then test. And then, the learning process is going to be like, repeated over and over again. And then the students can learn from this trial, from these errors, from this success through this process. It's quite similar ideas to like the experiential learning that the students have to explore the world, understand like the clients, understand like the students or the peoples whatsoever, and then they have to find out like the solution, and from the solutions and from the experiences they have to develop and understandings about the concepts or the theories or whatsoever, and try to apply such kinds of the thought-provoking basis into like the diverse case studies and diverse situations. Last but not least, that I comes up with this topic is about the outcomes. I believe that you guys are familiar with the experiential learning already. And I believe that you guys have got like the huge impacts of the affordable and sustainable impacts of the experiential learning, which is I try to, from my experience, so I try to kind of think about what outcomes basically that the experiential learning have provided for the students. So I try to kind of separate into like experiential, so EXPERIENTIAL, and then I find that so for E it's like engagement. So learning, experiential learnings provide like the active engagement for the students. So they have to think, they have to explore the world, they feel entertained, they got very active participations in order to share with the students and also with the instructors as well. The second one that Professor from Naples just mentioned in this morning about the creativity, okay? So I would put like X, like thinking out of the box. So there is no boundary, there is like no borders to think. It depends on what the students have experienced, and then they share and depends on like the frame of experiences of the students as well, and then they share with the instructors, and the instructors have got like some kinds of the suggestions for them. So it means that they can provide any solutions that innovative and also that creative as well. The third one is about the people. The third P is people. Is that in order to, in this experiential learning, it needs the peoples, it needs the judgment of the students, it needs like the experience of the student, it needs like, the participations of the students. So it's about like the people. And then that's why I put like the topics at the art of, okay? The arts, it means that it's about the humans, it's involved humans, it's involved people. The fourth one, which is another E, it makes the students entertain. So E, the next E is about entertainment, okay? They can get fun while, listening to the coach. They can get fun while exploring the world with their friends and whatsoever. The next one is about the R. Actually, I use like the remembrance, but I don't want to use it to be honest, because I don't think that experiential learning make the students remember, but they can't understand quite, long-lasting and also long-term understanding. They don't have to recite anything because they, do themselves, and then they learn from what they do. So, I try my best in order to find out like the words, what is like the good representative words for R. But yeah, it's not really like the words that comes up into my mind, so I use like the remembrance and also understanding. The next I is gonna be initiative. It's quite similar to out of the box. It's quite similar to like creativity. So experiential learning can help create and empower initiative of the students. The next one is about the exchange of the knowledge. So if you can remember the process of POP that the professor from Naples have shown this morning, so you can see that it comes up when in the process of number 2 and number 3. Number 1, so they play, and then the second one, they watch, and then they think, and then they have to kind of, apply it in the different or diverse situations. So exchange of the information or exchange of the knowledge comes up mainly for the second and the third stage. Then networking and collaborations and friendship should happen from using like the experiential learning. Then the next one is T talent. So what I can see from my students when I apply like experiential learning, I can see like the talent and also the excellence that they have got when using like the experiential, when they explore the world, when they understand something, and then they apply something. Then the next one is gonna be ideations. Okay, this is like the sense from the design thinking process, which is quite similar to initiatives and thinking out of the box. And the next A is going to be active actions, quite similar to the engagements as well. And last but not least, which is I think really important for the experiential learning, is about lifelong learning. Okay, I think it's quite similar to what I have said. So the student it's not important for the students in order to remember anything, but they can understand, truly understand from what they have done through the learning process. So I think that is all of me for 5 main reasons for choosing this topic and highlighting the important or the essence of the experiential learning, and trying to show you how and how important for the experiential learning in the basis of like affordable and also for the sustainable. So all right, thank you very much for today. If you have got any questions, so just feel free to ask me.